Welcome back. Having concluded the long instruction speeches of the prologue, we now enter a major new collection, the Proverbs of Solomon. Chapter 10 marks a dramatic shift from flowing poems to short, punchy couplets, wisdom in a nutshell. These 32 verses act like a mirror, forcing us to choose between the path of the righteous and the way of the fool. A wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish son brings grief to his mother. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 1. This verse serves as a Janus or hinge, linking the fatherly instructions of the first 9 chapters to the specific sayings that follow. It reminds us that our individual character choices carry deep emotional and social consequences for the family unit. In ancient Israel, a son's character determined the family's survival and standing at the city gate. Today, we often view character as a private matter, but Proverbs chapter 10 verse 1 argues that our integrity is a shared legacy that either builds up or breaks down our most intimate relationships. Ill-gotten treasures have no lasting value, but righteousness delivers from death. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 2 and verse 15. These verses introduce the theology of retribution. While the wicked may crave temporary gains, their treasures are fleeting vapors with no staying power compared to righteousness. Wealth provides a temporary strong city in the mind, but it cannot deliver the soul like integrity can. Our modern hustle culture often prioritizes the get-rich-quick scheme. Proverbs chapter 10 counters this by asserting that God himself stands behind the moral order, ensuring that character outlasts capital. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. He who gathers crops in summer is a prudent son, but he who sleeps during harvest is a disgraceful son. Like vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so are the lazy to their employers. Proverbs chapter 10 verses 4 to 5 and verse 26. Solomon uses the harvest as a metaphor for seizing God-given opportunities. Diligence is the virtue between the deficiency of the sluggard and the excess of the hasty worker. The lazy person is not just unproductive. They are an active irritant to those who depend on them. Ancient agrarian survival depended on the summer harvest. In our modern distraction culture, the sluggard manifests through procrastination and the folding of the hands. Proverbs reminds us that work is a moral act. To waste time is a disgrace to our calling. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Sin is not ended by multiplying words, but the prudent hold their tongues. The lips of the righteous feed many. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 11, verse 19, and verse 21. Words have weight and value. The righteous mouth is a wellspring that nourishes others, while the wicked mouth is a mask for malice. Precision is a mark of wisdom. In a multitude of words, transgression is inevitable. We live in a communication culture where speech is often used as a weapon, especially on social media. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 19 offers a counter-cultural path, the cool spirit of restraint. It teaches that the wise person knows when to hold their tongue to prevent unnecessary strife. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth, without painful toil for it. When the storm has swept by, the wicked are gone, but the righteous stand firm forever. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 22 and verse 25. This section contrasts the way of life with the way of death. The wicked are like chaff blown away by a storm, while the righteous have an everlasting foundation. Integrity provides a staying power that withstands life's inevitable whirlwinds. In seasons of crisis or seismic shifts, those without moral roots are easily overthrown. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 25 promises that a life built on fear of the Lord provides a resilience that allows us to smile at the future, no matter what the storm brings. Proverbs chapter 10 reminds us that wisdom is not just a theory, it's a skill for living that transforms our words, our work, and our wealth. Every couplet we've read today is an invitation to choose the path that leads to life. Which path will you walk today? Join us next time as we continue through the gateway to wisdom.